Hey guys, Spartan here, and welcome back to Palworld. Now, if you're only here for the action, feel free to skip this episode, because it's going to be pretty much all reading the adventure logs that I picked up throughout this game, and I've never read. Like I said I think it was like maybe episode 2, that I was like, oh yeah, I'll read those eventually, and it's like day 800 or something like that now, and I still haven't done that. But yeah, before I do, I need to explain, I've set the day-night cycle to 5 times because apparently that makes this boss respawn, or just like every world boss respawn faster. It used to be an hour, now it takes 12 minutes. So while I read, my Orcirc over here is going to go and just repeatedly be killing this boss, because she can kill it in 2 moves, which is very beneficial to me. I don't have to actually do anything. So that's going to happen while I read. So, journals. I have all the journals. I actually tried recording this at the start, and then I was like, oh wait, I'm missing 2 journals. I was missing Castaway's journal day 20, no, it was day 32. And I didn't have Victor Ashford's diary day, I think it was day 2 as well. So yeah, Axel only has 1 diary entry. While Saya has 5, Bjorn has 5, Victor has 3, Marcus has 3, Lily has 4, Zoe has 5. So we're going to start with the Castaway's journal. I'm going to start with day XX. I don't know if this is the predecessor. So, this world harbors a secret. I was convinced of this when I began re-examining the globe's geographical features for my research towards the end of last year. It looks like there's a gap between there, but there isn't. Looking over the islands of the world, I noticed something strange. I felt like a certain area was empty, so to speak. I knew there should have been something there. It was unbelievable to me how no one could have noticed such an obvious absence in this location. With a few months of preparation, I was successfully able to guess the location of an island based on my hypothesis. With conviction in my heart, I chartered a boat and set out for the island alone. It's got a picture. Strangely enough, the island is shrouded in a thick fog that makes discerning it from the sea impossible. Attempting to steer away from the fog, I turned rudder, only to be enveloped by an even deeper fog. Just then, someone attacked me. I have no idea where the attack came from, but my boat was all but destroyed, with nothing but wreckage left. I was still somehow able to make it to the coast. Oh, with nothing but wreckage left, I was somehow able to make it to the coast. Okay, I thought that was a period. No, it was a comma. This island exists in no database. It's an island hidden from the world. Why is it being hidden? Why isn't it on the maps? I'm certain this is all intentional. Was that attack on my vessel part of this attempt at complete concealment? There are more mysteries than I can count, but I am resolved to discover all of this island's secrets. Day 1. I found a strange device on the shore. It appears to be some kind of electrical contraption, but its odd design looks like no modern technology I've ever seen. This device is capable of recording images and displaying information about what it's shown in them. Or what is shown in them. I've decided to take photographs of the island using this device and use them along with this journal to document what I find. So yes, the Palpedia, which we already have one. We got one like immediately. Day 1-2, Lamball. Soon after setting foot on the island, I discovered a living creature nearby. Not only that, but every living thing I found here is like nothing I've ever seen. On the other hand, normal creatures you may find on any other island seem to be almost entirely absent. It seems this island has quite a unique ecosystem. I know now that its absence on any map is not the only special feature of this place. I've decided to use the device I found to record the very species I encounter. As I explored around on foot, I found a sphere that emits a peculiar blue light. I threw it without much thought, and the creature it landed near transformed into what seemed to be light, though the sphere had absorbed it. Unbelievably, when I tried throwing the same sphere again, the creature reappeared from the light and stared at me with what seemed like an amicable expression. As I began to create a shelter to protect me from the elements, the creature astonishingly began to help me. How useful. Wanting to deepen my connection with this living thing, I decided to name its kind Pals. To match, I christened the land Palapagos Islands. Okay, so this dude created it. He also managed to catch a Pal from full HP with a Pal Sphere, so he's incredibly fucking lucky, I guess. to the ruins. I discovered what appears to be an ancient ruin while exploring the island. Did humans once live here? Finding some kind of mural on the walls, I deciphered the symbols and found that it was none other than instructions on how to make that strange sphere from before. Using paldium, the name I have given to the blue ore found throughout the island, as a catalyst, it is possible to transform mere wood and stone into one of those spheres. Let's record this method of production on my device. There happened to be a weakened pal near me, unable to move. Rolling a sphere towards it, I was able to capture another pal. The first one didn't need to be captured, but, didn't need to be weakened, but that one did. Day 5. No day 4. It previously said 47 out of 49, so, yes. There is, in fact, no day 4. I've since befriended several pals. Some are similar to sheep and birds, others to cats. Each also appears to be skilled at different kinds of work. They divvy up work on their own accord and make life easier for me here. I'm sure the ancient civilization here must have worked with pals to prosper. Pals are not intelligent per se, but they all work quite diligently. If pals helped build those ruins, there must be some reason why they were destroyed. Day 6. The big tree. Something odd that bothers me since I arrived here. Far off in the distance I can see what looks like an enormous tree. Big enough to be the so-called world tree spoken about in so many myths. Yggdrasil. Still, it's so large that no amount of fog would be enough to obscure it from view from outside the island. The only hypothesis I can come up with is that something other than the fog enveloping this island prevents it from being seen by the outside world. In other words, some kind of mechanism must be preventing it from being seen from the outside. It seems likely that the mysterious powers these pals have something to do with it. You should not put the same word twice in a row without, at least any form of grammar between them. Japanese game devs. Day 8. I caught sight of a pal riding on the back of a deer-like pal. Thinking it was a great opportunity to try something new, I tried attaching a saddle to a similar pal and riding it. It went better than expected. The pal was quite easy to ride. This will surely expand the area I can explore around the island. Someone just made a incredibly loud sound outside my recording area. Day 10. Today I decided to take my pals on a bit of an excursion. A tower-like object visible in the distance had piqued my curiosity. After walking for a while, I encountered another human. When I tried to talk to them, however, they didn't say a word and just pointed a gun at me. Since they're on the island, it would make sense to consider them a remnant of the ancient civilization, but their attire suggests they're likely from the same era as I am. Are they, just like me, from the outside? Or has this ancient civilization developed here of its own accord? Ugh. I was in a rough spot, but my sheep pal protected me, allowing me to escape unscathed. I immediately returned to my base of operations and found that all my pals were safe. There's still so much to learn about this island. Day 11. I had no choice but to run away yesterday, but I can't stop thinking about that tower. Just as I decided to fashion some gear and try approaching it again, I heard the sound of gunfire behind me. That person from yesterday is after me. I couldn't sit by and do nothing. I mobilized all my pals for a counterattack. Before I knew it, they got carried away and killed the assailant. It's not like I killed anyone directly. There's no one to blame here. Sure. Just took a picture of his dead body. A12-1. Oh, I know where this is. There's a place where Lee's punks spawn and incinerate with the Syndicate. As I approached the tower for the second time, I once again heard the sound of gunfire. It seems there are groups that have banded together and now fighting for territory. I believe they're mostly using pals to fight this battle. This place isn't safe. I need to be stealthy if I'm to wander around here. A12-2. While taking a breather, I tried to figure out who these people were again, but to no avail. If they're from the outside, like I am, it would seem strange that such a large group would not have information about leaving the island. I only come to the conclusion that they're remnants of the ancient civilization here, fighting for survival. I can't fathom why or how they have guns, but it seems only natural that they must have created their weapons themselves. That, or it's possible they're imitating things that have drifted onto shore for some reason. Oh, the Free Pal Alliance Tower. After a long journey, I finally managed to arrive at the tower. I am nearly certain it's a relic from the ancient civilization, however I have no guesses as to why it was built. Still, I can feel there's an energy flowing throughout the place, similar to that of paldium ore. When I touched the inscribed stone slab, I found myself transported to some strange place. What I found there was an enormous pal and a human in control of it. I ran away in terror, and before I knew it, I found myself returned near the tower. You can't actually leave these raids, I believe, though. It's weird. Day 13. I've worked out that the ancients must have lived in luxury alongside pals, yet due to some unknown reason, that way of life was lost. Perhaps it was a massive natural disaster, or maybe a struggle broke out for scarce pals and resources. Then again, maybe it has something to do with the teleportation I experienced in the tower, supposing that some power is responsible for that spatial teleportation, perhaps similar to how the pal spheres work. What would happen if that power were utilized in other ways? A power so great that humans could not control it. Perhaps that is what destroyed the civilization on this island. Or, you know, maybe it was the interloper. I have tried to avoid thinking about it, but the food I brought along are all but gone, and I'm sick and tired of eating berries. I did happen to find a pal eating the flesh of another pal. It looked so delicious. I can't say I was proud to think as much, but sometimes sacrifices are necessary. I captured a wild bird pal, skinned it, and fried it up for dinner. It was so delicious, the sensation of eating meat was enough to make tears run down my face. Whether in killing fellow men or pals, this island has a way of making one forget about their ethics. Let me pause a bit here while I check if this guy dropped the schematic this time. I'm very unlucky with it. So, yep. Not yet. Let me just stand back on my pillar. Right. Day 18. I decided to distance myself from the tower and begun to explore other areas. There are places in each area that appear to be vast caverns. They appear to have traces of human involvement, and ore can be found throughout them. Could someone have used pals to dig these holes? I can't help but feel overwhelmed by all the mysteries I'm unable to solve, but my pals have come with me no matter where I go. As long as I have food to give them, that's it. Day 22. Oh, Elphadran. Is that a predator pal? What on earth was that huge pal? I was simply walking along the open field when I encountered a massive pal, the likes of which I've never seen before. I fled in surprise, but if I were to befriend a pal like that, I'd have nothing to fear on this island. The existence of a pal of that size is sure to prove that pals don't follow the laws of nature as we understand them. Perhaps the pal's source of energy doesn't come from food or photosynthesis alone, but some other kind of energy. The power I encountered in that tower may also have been utilizing the same energy source, but through human hands. Yeah, the image here is of a predator Elphadran, but it looks to be the normal, like, Elphadran, elite. It spawns naturally, it spawns near my base, I've killed it a few times. Day 25. That's not a normal egg. After living with pals for a while, I've come to realize they don't breed like normal animals. All it takes is the presence of a male and a female pair. With some time, an egg simply appears. Furthermore, it seems that the bodies of dead pals simply vanish. Where do pals come from, and where do they go? These mysteries have no end in sight. Day 29. Utilizing an inscription I found in some ruins, I managed to compress the size of pal spheres even further. Developing a method for remotely moving pals, I can now also teleport the spheres themselves. This has made organizing, managing, and my pals much easier. It isn't hard to imagine that the ancients must have also moved and managed a large number of pals simultaneously. So this guy went 29 days without building a pal box. Wow, that's amazing. He must be a hardcore survivor. Day 30. It's been a month since I arrived on Palapagos Islands. I've grown quite used to living here. Lately, I've had pals make weapons and equipment for me. A few pals seem to have taken an interest in guns, so I've devised weapon designs for their use. Some aren't quite adept at handling the weapons. I'm sure they'll be all the more reliable in coming battles. Okay, day 32. This is the one I was missing. I've made a mistake. What was supposed to be a short excursion, a group of dangerous nocturnal pals attacked me, and I was injured. Why are the pals who live on this island so aggressive? I can't help but feel their attacks are well beyond the ferocity necessary for self-preservation. Humans, for example, will engage in bloody war at the behest of a leader. Similarly, the pals living here seem like they are fighting for the very island itself. I suspect they harbor some deep and structural drive to protect this place. And the Lost Journal. I think this was... No, this wasn't found on Faybreak, probably. Having now journeyed far from where I first drifted ashore, I've come across a massive statue in the shape of a pal. That's Jet Dragon. I'm nearly certain it is a legacy of the ancient civilization, but why would humans build a statue such as this? Everything I found thus far suggested that pals lived alongside these ancients as equals, but constructing a monument like this must mean some were also objects of worship. Perhaps there are certain pals out there that have special significance both to people and to pals. Yeah, I would definitely worship Jet Dragon. And that's the end of the Castaways journal. Majority of... Actually, no, not majority of entries. There's plenty, but yeah. Alright. Let me take a sip of my tea before I start speaking again. It's gone cold, but it is the middle of winter, that's to be expected. Zoe Rain's diary, day 1. Picture of Griswold. I don't have a family. My father disappeared a long time ago, and I've never seen my mother's face. The only ones who raised me are those guys and Griswold. That's why I know I have no choice but to survive in this tiny little world. Those guys all chase around pals with their guns. They capture the ones they hurt and sell them to these other weird guys. In return, they get food. They even share it with me. That's why I don't have to be hungry. I don't think any of those guys really care about me. They just keep me alive because I'm the daughter of the boss. I still believe that, even if I'm a boss now, too. A2. Yep, it's Grisbolt in a cage. Grisbolt was one of the pals they were going to sell, but she looks so lonely in her cage. Oh, Zoe's Grisbolt is a female. Okay. She was just like me, and father, I thought. I was still little back then, so I couldn't control myself. I waited until everybody was sleeping, opened Grisbolt's cage, and ran off far away with her. I shared half a slice of breakfast toast with her, but we were both hungry by evening and went back to the base. Of course, all the guys were super angry. They threw me in a cage with Grisbolt, and I thought we were gonna get taken away, but Grisbolt protected me. Not even their guns or bats could beat her. Yeah, of course. How did she get captured in the first place if she's that strong? But she didn't even try to escape, the big dummy. I gave Grisbolt a command and she called down a huge bolt of lightning that wiped out all of the guys. They didn't wake up until the next morning. Ever since then, I've been with Grisbolt. Free Pale Alliance. There's a group that oppresses ours, stationed a little ways away from here, or from where we live. They don't like the way we sell pals and use weapons. Our group sneers at them and calls them the Free Pal Alliance. We're always fighting with them for no reason. If I stop and think about it, I bet they're not bad people if they love pals that much. I asked one of the guys who's been around for a long time about it. He said it was complicated. Apparently our group has been around for a long time, and we've always been fighting with those FPA guys. He said he doesn't know the real reason behind it, but we've been fighting for so long that there's no hope of ever getting along. Wasn't there an Avatar episode that was like that? Sometimes I wonder if there's anything beyond the sea. The only thing I can see so far off in the distance is that huge tree. I've never heard anyone talk about what's beyond that place. Apparently some brave guy from long ago went to see the outside world, but he never came back. I've heard about people coming from beyond the sea, though. I don't know what those kinds of people do, but they say they use tools different from our own. That's why I know there must be something beyond the sea. A whole bunch of islands, a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of things. It sounds scary. I'd like to try going sometime. And last entry. I started to wonder, why am I guarding this big tower again? I always thought it was obvious since father also used to do this, but now that I think about it, I have no idea why. From what I heard about it, they say there's a legend passed out on this island. They say this tower is somehow related to that legend, and that it has some big, great power. What kind of power, I wonder? Even if that's true, why does this power have to be protected? Anyway, even though I don't really know why, I'm always here protecting this tower. There are other towers around the island, and they say people like me guard them all. Okay, didn't really learn too much. Lily's diary. Pals, such strange creatures. Oh my god, she writes a lot. These noble beings have upheld our civilization since ancient times. They not only boast impressive intellect, reflexes, and adaptability, but are adorable to look at as well. How could anyone not come to love them? Humans are savage animals. With the insatiable appetite for the proliferation of their own kind, they subjugate other species and enslave them. They engage in pointless strife, consume flesh for no reason, and develop beyond their needs. When one takes into account their hideous appearance, how could anyone not detest them? Humans capture pals and use them. If a pal is captured to a so-called palsphere, they become obedient to their master. What abhorrent tools they become. One can only say this with the greatest disdain in the history of our civilization. Pals and humans were originally meant to live alongside each other in mutual support, not a relationship where between master and servant, but one of equals, a harmonious coexistence, if you will. Eating a pal for food is akin to blasphemy against God. Well, I am Jesus, I am descendant of God. Ah, there's Lylene. I will recount the day I met Lylene. Ugh. I remember that the fog was so thick that day that I could scarcely see in front of my very eyes. I was simply walking along the berry fields, as I am fond of doing, and I heard the clamorous voices of those abhorrent poachers. When I looked to where I could hear the sound of their filthy screams, I saw them throwing spheres at a pal resembling a vivid lily flower. She was so beautiful and elegant. That moment I knew what I must do. I pierced their dirty hearts through the back and destroyed their scattered spheres. They shot at me a few times, but it was a trivial matter. I could not touch such a beautiful flower with my trembling blood-stained hands. Instead, I returned immediately to my base. When I arrived, I found the Queen of the Lilies there, awaiting me. When she touched my arm, my wounds were healed, and the fatigue began to fade away. From that day forward, I decided to become companions with my queen. She's the only flower that blooms in this sad, dark world. Okay, methodology to, what's the word? The passive ability, the active ability that Lylene has. Won't you join the Free Pal Alliance? The Free Pal Alliance is a long-standing organization that works to protect pals. We have lived together with pals since antiquity, and each of us has a deep love for the wondrous creatures. 5 traditional commandments. Thou must not eat pals. Thou must not overwork pals. Thou must not abuse pals. Thou must not use pals for experiments. Thou must risk thy life to protect pals. Wouldn't you like to join us and protect the pals you love? Your life in service of protecting pals is a small price to pay. The flesh and blood of humans exists only for the glory of pals. Okay, there's a very big slippery slope there. To like, oh yes, we will sacrifice you for the pals. And then I hit them with a meteor rain. Oh, same image. On some distant shore of the island, there exists an islet. Is that an actual word for a small island? I don't think so. Islet, where certain pals live. Not a single one of their kind, strange as it may seem, resides on the main island. Perhaps they can only flourish in a particular kind of environment, or their natural predators roam the main island. Then again, perhaps they are simply unable to cross the sea. I do not know the reason they exist there, but I'm certain they must be protected. Just imagining those poachers setting up a hideout there and ruining their way of life is enough to make my blood seethe. Your blood doesn't seethe, it like boils. With every visitor to the outside of their island, the pals' numbers dwindle. At this rate, they may even go extinct. I would like nothing more for us to protect them, but we have our hands full guarding this forest. As loath as I am to ask for help, I have petitioned the PIDF to assist with their protection. In return, we must pay them a hefty sum, but it is worth it if it means protecting the lives of precious pals. It seems my subordinates have found a way to generate revenue. I will set aside those funds for this endeavor. It seems odd they would be able to gather such large sums only through raids of the poachers' camps, though. Black marketeering. Alright. Gotta set Orsec to, become violent in case Neptilius spawns at nighttime. I got a diamond. That's something, I guess. It is very hard to climb this pillar. Alright, no, that's Alt-Tab. That is not just Tab. Journals. Not many left. Okay, Marcus's diary. Day 1. It's a big desert. What a joke. All the idiots do around here is snort up stims. It's a real dump. There's no point in even trying to control it. PIDF doesn't belong in a place like this. The guys I arrested today couldn't even pay the fine. Guess it's to be expected if they spend all their money getting a fix. But they bet they can't even imagine the money they pay ends up lining my pockets. I make a profit when they buy. and then I make more when I arrest them for possession. And I even get back my product to sell again when I confiscate what they have. It's a grand scheme. They're idiots, and I'm a genius. This is just their punishment for being fools. You catch my drift? This island is just my little sandbox to play on. For all I care, they can live their little sad lives without ever knowing. I'm the one supplying their fix, and the one controlling it. If I let them get carried away, they'll just go off and demand rights that ain't fit for garbage like them. Okay, so we got, Marcus, what's the word? Marcus Reagan. Yeah, supplying, crack to his, workers. Didn't expect that to be his, gimmick. I guess that's where his power of money came from. Life out here is not all peace and quiet. The damn wind blows, and somehow somebody's cutting into my profits. Just today, some punk little syndicate clown who thinks he's smart tried selling stims without my permission. My partner, Phaleris, is always there to deal with dumb bottom feeders like that. Just like me, he's having fun playing in this little sandbox. Maybe he just likes eating that white stuff. Cocaine? Don't look at me like that. Ain't no food today, boy. Go eat some of that white sand. Oh, starving his pal, making him eat white sand. Another peaceful day on the island. More proof we're having fun playing house, right, Phaleris? Don't worry, I get it. You've got the same eyes as me. You're having fun playing house too, yeah? Maybe you're just waiting for me to fall over dead. You sure do like eating that white stuff, huh? Maybe the day'll come where I'm just leftovers stuck to your wings. Maybe not. Either way, let's just watch each other's backs until then, right, partner? Okay. Probably the most evil, but then we have Victor, who is, I believe, the most evil there is. On interspecies PAL experiments. Results? Failure. Attempted to combine various four-legged and winged PALs, but no successful patterns emerged. Some combinations succeeded in creating bodies, but those deteriorated in seconds, and all are disposed of. Impressions. Reconsideration of chemicals for response control is necessary. Furthermore, an expansion of species is to inspect is also likely necessary. We'll consider extracting chemicals from eichthidea antlers to create a compound. Storage temperatures also require reconsideration. Note, acquire 1 ice PAL for cooling purposes. Reanalysis of base DNA information for the species under consideration is desirable. Analysis of PAL DNA information is pressing, but requires new equipment. However, the current equipment was coincidentally acquired from outside. There are limits to how far it can be improved. This will require self-made blueprints to create equipment from scratch. PAL condensation machine. On the distillation and administration of PALs to the same species. Results: success. A certain species of PAL was dissolved into liquid and concentrated via distillation. Subsequently, the concentrated liquid was administered to PAL of the same species. As expected, the result yielded an enhancement in the abilities of the administered PAL. Impressions. This experiment, initiated as an alternative approach towards generating powerful PALs, surprisingly yielded favorable outcomes. Theories postulating that PALs of certain species contain the nutrients most necessary for the same type of PAL seem valid. This experiment was accordingly resulted in the enhancement of the PAL's abilities, or has accordingly resulted. However, there remains a slight doubt regarding whether the observed enhancement surpasses the anticipated values. Perhaps it's not merely a matter of basic nutrients, but rather we must question whether PALs inherently possess a distinct energy source essential for their own existence. Further investigation is required. There's Shadowbeak. On interspecies PAL experiments 2. Results: success. Only one specimen emerged, an artificially created new species with 4 legs and wings. It was promptly transferred to the cultivation equipment and has since shown promising progress, steadily maturing. Attempts to reproduce the same process failed. Thus, this miraculous success is attributed to some unknown external factor. Impressions. The success of the species is genuinely gratifying. The new species, named Shadowbeak, will continue to be observed closely for further developments. However, the lack of reproducibility of the procedure poses a significant challenge. Henceforth, the plan is to proceed with the experiment, incorporating slight adjustment based on this procedure. Addendum. The disappearance of Alex, who served as a lab assistant, is concerning. I kind of wish that these diaries would tell you how that they made these pals that the bosses have, because I mean, sure, they spawn on the island in the top right. That's where you can get all the bosses from. You didn't hear that, by the way. But yeah, other than Bastigor, which literally just does not spawn, you can get all of them from there. But you can breed all of them. Axel's Traveler's Diary, day or 1. There's only one entry as well. Every day I'm snoring, no rivals to get me going. I don't care about the hype, ain't nobody gonna beat my hype. Or, ain't care about the type, ain't nobody gonna beat my hype. I'm looking for a fight, a real tough brother from another mother. Throwing in the towel ain't gonna cut it. It's gonna be a knockout, a throwdown brawl out. So fast your eyes will bleed. Maybe I should say this like Joey Wheeler. When we ready for the battle, you better believe the shock's gonna rock your socks off. Sword off, my lightning is tougher than high kings. When it hits the ring, ain't nobody gonna be singing for you, player. You ready for this hype? You read the words, so get ready for the fight. Not much information, but then again, he kind of is a boring dude. I mean, his most interesting thing is his Orsirk, which he can ride. Sire. The moon on these islands remains unchanged. No, it is the true nature of the moon to change its shape. I do not know. Many years ago, a lost soul who washed up on the shore found it strange that the moon never waned, as if time itself had stopped. That person once said the words, "Crescent moon." These words still stir my heart deeply. When the lost moon appears in this world again, it is said it will be like a blade. Will I be able to witness the blade of the moon that signals the beginning? Tonight is also a full moon. Today's sake tastes awful too. Just rice wine. I don't drink alcohol anyway. For countless ages, we have continued to protect this tower. The reason is unknown. Our conveyed mission is only to maintain this island at a standstill. We hunt the madman from the snowy mountains who defile the land. We hunt those who have proliferated in excess. Those who pontificate about research, justice, and such babble, to preserve this landscape forever. Yet we merely exist here. Our time does not pass. It has become unbearable. Only when intoxicated by sake, intoxicated by myself, can I avoid pondering such unnecessary matters. How long has it been since I can no longer enjoy the taste of alcohol? Someone, please shine a light on this perpetual darkness. Tonight is also a full moon. Today's sake tastes awful too. There is disarray among the ones from the volcano. Rumor has it their leader has changed. Before their ways weren't so extreme, but now they are consumed by bloody struggle against the maniacs from the White Mountain. Those lunatics, those unscrupulous people who disgrace this place, so the situation benefits us. But why do they start fighting now? I do not know what their leader is thinking, but I hope they do not tarnish our land. Tonight is also a full moon. Today's sake tastes awful too. Oh, there's Celine. The moon has reached out to our pitiful selves. The crescent moon I longed for so dearly is now right before me. The everlasting darkness has lifted. It is clear to me, this creature is the one who will lead us to the end. No matter how our time ends, until that moment, I will be with you. Incarnation of the crescent moon, blade of beginnings, please illuminate our paths. Tonight is also a full moon. Today's sake tastes delicious. From the tower. There is one who is trying to pull out the stakes. I hear the sound of the end. Now, I just sit and wait. And so, as who just exist here, please destroy us. With the blade of the crescent moon, let the beginning of our time be announced, and with death, we shall be released from our shackles. Tonight, the moon is hidden from view. Today's sake is incredibly delightful. The moon is in the image. Alright, beyond time. I would do the voice of, like, generic Skyrim dude, but no, I will not do it right now. Saligson, that's a weird last name. For that day, which may or not come, I have pursued strength relentlessly. Have I ever doubted this path, even once? Nay. As it seems, I shall not end as a fool. The nuisance will surely find its way. Long ago, the wise ones, with their light of their wisdom, raised the towers on these islands as the fountain of a fleeting peace. Now, even as it stirs chaos, the nuisance will see them clearly. How ironic. Is it all bad? Nay. Thanks to this present reminder, I shall not forget my duty. For the many nameless souls of the past, I shall slay this one nameless outsider. The burden shall be fulfilled. Is that talking about me? Or the castaway? This place is cursed. Nay, it is I and Bastigor who are cursed. Thousands of years ago, when a colossal fortress still stood in this land, reaching towards the heavens, it appeared suddenly. The heavens shattered and we fell disgracefully. Our kin, who once looked down upon others from the sky, fled in panic, tails between their legs. But I, nay, my ancestors, alone, did not abandon this land, reduced to ashes, or its people. Fallen from the sky, we gathered the bewildered folk, and bared our fangs against it. From that moment, we forged an unchanging resolve, becoming the people of the Faebreak. And so my kin, who once merely sullied the lowest ranks, took a new throne and vowed to bear all burdens. And we'll do 3, 4, and 5 after Neptilius dies again. Still no schematic. But hey, buddy old pal reached level 60. Nope, that is Alt-Tab again. I'm trying to just normal tab. The battle against it did not end, even with the aid of a thunder dragon, a pair of celestial beings, and the wisdom of a noble paladin. Is that, what's his name? Palladius and Necromus? We could not bring about its destruction. The celestial beings, determined not to let it escape, shrouded the island in an unending winter night. The black Pegasus melted into the night and vanished. The land became still, unseen, and leaving the island became impossible. So the ice is Frostallion, and the black Pegasus is Frostallion Noct. It's the Thunder Dragon. The paladin, ashamed of his failure, split himself in two, vowing to never show mercy again. The dragon vanished beyond the reach of a flash, disappearing from sight. In hindsight, perhaps it has now returned because it has sensed the coming of that day. And now, here we are. It still slumbers. Do I guard this land, truly for the sake of duty? Nay. No matter the pretense, I cannot hide it. Perhaps I simply wish to meet a worthy foe. So the battle against it is probably Jet Dragon. So, I have read some things about lore about this game, and this is relating to it most likely. So, I am going to pull up the Palpedia for this. So, there are legendary beings, obviously, the legendary pals of this game. So, we have... Let me scroll down to the exact point they are. Palladius and Necromus, as it says in their description, were once one with each other. That is the paladin that they are talking about, the legendary paladin, which split from each other after the fight. And then you have Frostallion and Frostallion Noct. And, you can read from Frostallion, it says, Guardian deity of the Palapagos Islands, known as the Winter Caller. In the past, when a calamity struck the land, it soared into the sky and sealed away the threat by casting the island into eternal winter. And this one does the same, casting it into eternal darkness. The being they fought was Jet Dragon. So it says, watches over Palapagos Islands from high above. When calamity returns to the land, the earth will split open and the skies will burn. It is destined to strike down the calamity in a flash of total destruction. So, why did Jet Dragon come? Well, Jet Dragon, you may be able to tell by how it kind of looks, is actually related to the Xeno family. So, Xenogard, you can't really tell that much, because it's kind of just a weird, gangly thing. Xenogard, the relationship becomes a bit more apparent, because it's got, like, this 5 fan-like blade things on the back, which could be related to wings. It has like the head top things, which Xeno Vader also had. So let's go back to Jet Dragon to take a quick look. So it's got the things, it's got the thing on its back, and it's got the wings as well. And the tail is still a bit different, but then again, I'll get to that soon. It also has short, stubby legs, and the arms are a bit longer. And then we have Xenolord, which is... It has the same, like, style of wings and the same back thing as Jet Dragon does. So we take a look. It's got a little circle here and the crystal wings. And Jet Dragon has bigger circle and different colored crystal wings. Also has 4. And Xenolord's description is: Destination reach. Priority: locate entity supersonic dragon. Note: conquest deadline exceeded by error code 126 DC years. Update: no conquest traces found. Neutralization confirmed. Commence elimination protocol. And then a joke. So, Xenolord kind of hints towards that Jet Dragon came to the world and tried to destroy it, but failed. Which is why it's saying neutralization confirmed, and that they were trying to find Jet Dragon to assist it or something like that, or confirm that it has in fact worked. Jet Dragon didn't work, because Jet Dragon was beaten by Frostallion because Ice beats Dragon. And it has said, or at least it is heavily rumored, that Jet Dragon started, like, basically living in the land since it was sealed off, and it couldn't really do anything. So Jet Dragon evolved to be more like a Pal and less like a Xeno, like, creature, Xeno-Pal, technically. And that's the main theory that people are saying, or at least that's supposedly what the story is. And apparently Jet Dragon is now good now. So, yeah. Back to the journal. I wonder if the lone daughter of Rain's blood is well. I did her a disservice. In any case, last time I saw her, she's still at her mother's breast. Okay, that is not grammatically correct. She will not remember me. Her father and I never saw eye to eye. He was not a man driven by duty or the past. On the day we parted ways, I gave him a final test, a foolish pretense. In the end, it was nothing more than a childish spite. Surprisingly, he accepted without hesitation. He turned out to be a man of principle, more than I had expected. It was a task even a child could manage, but he never returned. Since then, the young ones who had gathered around him were left without leadership, but it seems his daughter has taken the helm, and brought some semblance of order. Though our paths diverged, she has faithfully upheld the mission to guard the tower. Indeed, she is truly your child. If, just if, everything were to end, and I were freed from all burdens, what would I do? An old man with little time left. What would I do? Surely I would continue this fight until I crumble to dust. The world must be vast. Surely there are worries beyond my imagination, countless in number. If so, perhaps I could repair that old ship. It has been too long since I last sailed the seas. And Bastigor, it is about time for you too as well. After dealing with the nuisance, perhaps I shall seek a mate for you. There's only one Bastigor in the world, however, and it's that one that he has. Well, aside from the ones in my inventory, but I'm kind of the exception. And yeah, that's the lore for the game. Now, I think there's a little tiny bit more lore with Neptilius as well, because it's a legendary. After the sealing of the Calamity, a champion from Faebreak emerged. It stares out to sea, awaiting one it deems worthy. For such encounters are no coincidence. They are fate. Which is said to be something along the lines of... Bjorn wanted to fight Neptilius, but never got a chance to. Because Neptilius is really goddamn far away and is in a sealed realm. And Neptilius was, like, from Faebreak. But yeah, that's it for the story of the game so far, and all the lore. While I'm here, I might as well talk about some things that I did off camera at some point, and I forgot to ever mention. I explored around the map a bit. All of this was just salvaging. There is a Waylaska boss up here in this, like... There's some island here. It's so small it doesn't, like, appear on the map. And there is one here as well for Waylasker Ignis. Also, Gelroy spawns here on Phantom Isle, where it's got a whole bunch of Ganglers and Gelroys. But yeah. Hey there, Jet Dragon. So yeah, that is it for the story of this game. I hope you enjoyed listening to my innate ramblings and constant reading mistakes. In the next video, I don't know what it will be doing. I'm kind of just grinding for this charge rifle schematic, and I am very unlucky with it. Also, I know that it only has 800 durability, but when you have as much damage as the, fully leveled charge rifle has, it's understandable, I guess. So, yep. I'll see you guys in the next video of whatever it is. Till then, goodbye.